Welcome to NJS Minds, the interview series where we introduce our staff members and explain a bit more about what they do on their day-to-day. As you know, my name is Jack Scott, and today I'm joined by NJS Law Solicitor Nichola Johnson, so thank you for joining me today. To start, can you tell us a bit more about how you became a personal and serious injury solicitor and a bit extra about your background?
Yeah, so I never intended to be a solicitor. I actually went to university and did a forensic science and criminology degree. I then got a job in a law firm, a local law firm for experience, and they decided to offer me the opportunity to have further education and did my law degree, conversion law degree. I was then given the opportunity to complete my LPC, my legal practice course, and my training contract through what was then Bolin Legal, now NJS Law. And that was 15 years ago now, and I'm still here today.
Okay, very nice. So what motivated you to specialise in personal injury and serious injury law?
I became very interested dealing with clients and the variety of work involved. Every case is different, and the opportunity to help these individuals and make a tangible difference I found really rewarding.
So can you describe a typical day in your role?
Yes, there's no typical average day. Every day is different. Some days I can be in conferences with barristers. Other days I'll be reviewing evidence, medical evidence, video footage, CCTV. Every day is so varied, it's very difficult to explain a typical day. Court proceedings, witness statements, there's a whole variety, which is obviously why I enjoy the job so much.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
How do you handle cases that involve severe or life-changing injuries, and does this differ to a typical case that you may deal with?
Every single case needs its own sensitivity and to be considered on its own evidence. Some people have had quite serious catastrophic injuries that are life-changing. So it's just ensuring that the client remains reassured and supported along the way, because sometimes these cases can go on for a number of years. So it's just making sure that the client at the end of the day has the information and support that they need.
Okay, so on the back of that, can you potentially share a memorable case that you've worked on previously?
Okay, so there's been quite a lot of cases over the last 15 years, so it's quite difficult to choose one. They're all so different. Perhaps more recently, there was a gentleman who was injured at work driving a forklift truck. He severed his spinal cord, so he sustained significant life-changing injuries, involving a lot of evidence and experts. Both on the liability front, there was evidence to consider, and also considerable medical evidence because of the nature of his injuries. So that one sticks out the most. But as I say, there's lots of interesting cases that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. So
would the severity of that case mean that it took longer to settle than any other case?
Yes, because there were lots of medical experts that we needed to send our client to see, and the defendants also wanted the opportunity to examine the client. So that takes time. Obviously, there's a lot of rehab and recovery, so they do genuinely take a little bit more doing, yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who's just experienced a serious injury and would consider taking legal action?
Okay, so anyone that's had a significant injury, I would always recommend they go to their GP or to the hospital and seek medical advice first to try and reduce any suffering. That's the most important thing. We also need to obtain evidence quite early on, if possible, photographs, video footage, witness evidence, and any photographs is also beneficial if they're dated, but we can always guide them along the way and advise on what evidence might be needed in that particular case. Yeah. But in the first instance, it's always going to be to seek medical attention.
Okay. That's some really helpful advice for any potential clients. So thank you for joining me today.
Welcome.